What is good, Voice of Reason family, man? We back with the VOR podcast with your host, Vari, man. Today, we got our special guest with us once again.
Bezo, man. What's good?
Man, you're going to see a lot of my brother on this podcast. We also going to have some special guests, though, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Man, today's episode, we really talking about why you are unhappy, man. It's been a topic that's been weighing heavy on my mind lately that I would like to really address, you know. I feel like I had a lot of time in my life where, you know, I spent time kind of like indulging on what this meant to me. I think Bezo has too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just want to hop on here and just chop it up with you and, you know, see like, you know, what's your thought process behind the thing. Like, I want to hear like how your personal journey on finding happiness has been.
That's tough. I'm with it. Let's go.
All right, man. So I'm going to let you start off, and then I'll take over and I'll talk about my piece on my journey to find happiness.
All right. I mean, happiness is such a broad topic when, like, happiness can mean a lot of things for a lot of people, but, like, you have to really find what happiness is for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It is a society that we live in where it's very easy to look at other people and you find happiness in other people and you feel like your life should mirror that. And if you don't have those things, you don't feel happy. And in reality, all your happiness comes truly from yourself. I was having a conversation with one of my supporters. He was talking about how he was, you know, he's grinding the music stuff. He wanted to be a producer, and he felt like he's seeing these younger producers, and they're blowing up. They're getting these amount of views, and like he's not getting the same love when he, you know, whatever path he's on, you know, age-wise. And I told him, like, you have to realize the happiness shouldn't come from the
numbers,
achievements, the results, and all that. The happiness should come from your love and your passion to do that craft. And like you usually find better results when you think like that.
I think one of the key pieces that you inadvertently said was pretty much like it's internal happiness. You know what I'm saying? Happiness that you find in yourself. I think a lot of times that's the problem, is that happiness is typically looked at to be found elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Externally. And realistically, it's hard to find externally. It might not even be real externally if you don't have it internally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think, like I, you know, what your supporter said was true. You know, you spend a lot of time looking out, trying to see what everybody else is doing, and you actually don't spend enough time looking at yourself. You know, it's like the VOR Wednesday post we got. Don't let the window do what the mirror's supposed to. You know, a lot of people didn't quite understand what I said by that. You know what I'm saying? And realistically, we cooked that up one morning and was like, damn, like that's tough.
That shit hit.
You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people didn't really take the chance to really like try to debunk it. You know what I'm saying? Or like try to like understand what it meant. And the thing I want y'all to know is the real purpose of that saying was when you looking out the window, you seeing what the world's doing, what everybody else is doing, what's going on this, who driving this, who walking down this street, what they got on, and then you're not spending that time in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? You spend that time looking out the window. When you were looking at the mirror, you're looking at yourself. You're like, dang, all right, let me get in the gym. I look like I ain't been in the gym in a minute. You know, that's some good, like, positive self-love. It's like, all right, like, I see where the room of improvement is. I'm not going to, like, fixate on it and get myself all, like, out of whack thinking about all the things I need to change about myself. But, you know, like, self-improvement is true. And I think one of the tough parts about the internet right now is there's, like, a line between self-love and, like, fixating, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole thing about like eating disorders and like weight and shaming people by their weight versus body positivity. And so there's realistically there's a fine line between the two, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you got to love yourself, but at the same time you should always be wanting to make sure you're in good health, make sure you're all right, make sure that you get your exercise in, all those types of things.
Yeah.
And so to me, those are also ways to work on your internal health. You know what I'm saying? So me and Bezo right now, we're on this journey called Operation AR. During this operation, we have been waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, leaving the gym, coming home, taking a shower, making breakfast, going to work, coming back, doing our own social, you know, our own endeavors, working on our own crafts, finishing that, making dinner, you know what I'm saying, spending some time to like relax, watch a show, read, go to sleep. That's really what our day kind of breakdown is, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why we chose these steps as our like internal growth type of like, actions, is because we knew that those are all things that would contribute to what? Internal benefits. Going to the gym, internal benefit. Going to sleep at night at a reasonable time to wake up on a reasonable time, internal benefit. Working on our craft that we enjoy doing, internal benefit. Making sure we're eating properly, internal benefit. You're not hearing anything that we're doing throughout our day that's involving worldly things, external things. These are all internal things. And I feel like a lot of time, like, it's not talked about enough.
I feel like it's also really just a mindset, because a lot of people, even something as healthy as the gym, can become toxic if you come into it thinking about those external factors, right? If we're doing Operation AR, and the whole reason why we're doing it is because we feel like we're not good enough, or we're looking outside, out the window, and we're seeing other people like, dang, I want to be like that. Word. And like, we're not looking at ourselves and just wanting to better ourselves just for the better being of ourselves, and that's where like the mindset could be different, and it could be like, instead of chasing happiness, you're chasing like a toxic, thing that you can never crave.
Yeah, and I think it's a hard thing for people to even come to that like awareness level, because self-awareness is one of the biggest parts to getting towards self-love, and internal happiness is kind of like the end of all of that down the line. There's so many things. There's like all these steps, all these places you got to get to before you can get to that happiness. And so, like, for me, right, I've been through this journey for 20 years. 20 years since I was put on this earth. It's been, you have that childhood era of everything's dandy and happy and everything smiles and giggles, you know what I'm saying? And then you start growing up. I want to say it's around the middle school time, bro, where then everybody kind of starts shifting. You're around a certain group of friends. And for me personally, like, I've had friends throughout years that, at the end we all came out like together, But I definitely went through my own wave of like shedding what I felt was dead skin. And I feel like that's a very important phase towards finding internal happiness. Making sure you're shedding that dead weight. A lot of times it's very easy to just be like, oh man, like, this is just me. Nah, take that time to really sit with yourself. I took 3 months during COVID, deleted all social media in a time period where social media was like everything. We weren't leaving the house, and if you did, you was masked up. So it was like, I took those 3 months off, and I just did me. And I think it got really dark and it got really lonely. You know what I'm saying? I was spending all my days pretty much by myself. My dad was an essential worker, so he had to go to work. My mom worked from home, but, if she working from home, it's like she at work, so I can't really go up in there. And so I'm just here by myself. And I was just doing this and doing that, and, you know what I'm saying, maybe playing a game a bit, but that was really all.
Do you think that changed how maybe you perceive things now, even though everything is kind of like, quote unquote, back to normal, and like you can socialize, and socializing is normalized again, being outside? But like, do you think that isolation still gave you that, push of like, you're good by yourself though?
Yeah, I would definitely say I still have the COVID effect, if you want to call it that. That's what I call it, COVID effect, where, it's actually something I had to actively work against, because I was going home, I was at home, and I got so comfortable being at home and not talking to anybody and literally all I did was listen to music too. That was another piece. But when I went back out into like the social world, it was like, dang, like, me talking to you makes me feel nervous. Like, me speaking up to you now makes me feel nervous. I ain't talking so long, bro. People, I was talking to my mom and my dad and my sister,
Yeah.
So it was like, now me talking, it feels just so outlandish, And then, I had to tell myself, like, yo, you gonna be a business owner? You wanna have a podcast? You wanna do all these social things? You wanna make an impact on the world? You wanna be indulged in, like the human mind and all these types of things? You gotta be in touch with your own, So I was like, you can't be scared to go talk to people. And so many people, I think, build it up so much in their head, like, I don't want to say something stupid. Let's be honest. I'm talking to this mic right now, and I'm to the masses, whoever's watching.
Yeah.
And I could say some real dumb shit right now. Let's be honest. I could say some dumb shit. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'll wake up again tomorrow, and it'll be something else I'm going to say stupid too. I'll wake up the next day, and it'll be something else. And so it's like, why just try to prevent myself from being Why trying to make myself feel like I have to be perfect? I'm made to be imperfect.
It's not possible.
I'm imperfectly perfect. That's the point. You know what I'm saying? So throughout that time, it definitely was weird, and that's why I feel like I am how I am now, because I made myself have to speak. I tell people all the time, I'm a shy person. Y'all just don't know that. They're like, Var, you shy? Why are you lying? You know what I'm saying? You lying? Like, well, I'm like, yo, listen, bro. Just because I speak does not mean like it wasn't, like it doesn't take a lot for me to do it.
Yeah.
But eventually it gets to a point where it's like it becomes second nature because you do it so often. You ever heard like the phrase like, do it till you become it? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fake it till you become it.
Literally, like, same thing with the YouTube stuff. Like, I came from a small high school. Even though I was in the city, I didn't have much of like a city life, I would say. Like, I wasn't like out in parties and stuff like that in the city. So once I was outside of my small high school I was in, and I had my small little friend group, I was home and I had that. But when I came to college, I came to a college that was huge compared to anything I've ever been in.
Talk about it.
And I came here with a goal that I wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to do content creation. And I had to force myself out that comfort of knowing everybody and not really having to talk to strangers often. Most of my YouTube videos in those days was me talking to strangers and me doing crazy stuff with strangers. And so when people meet me now, if they know me from my YouTube, they would think I'm a very social like butterfly. Like you know what I'm saying? But same thing with you. Like even though it might seem like that, it doesn't mean it wasn't no trials to even get to a position where that's a comfortability.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably won't even ever watch this podcast myself. Just because, like, I'll be like, dang, I don't want to hear my own voice. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to hear, oh, my God, you sounded so stupid when you said that, Vari. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that still happens. It's just, like, you got to get yourself to a mental point of comfortability. But the only way to do that, bro, is honestly just sit there with yourself. People spend too much time with distractions. Me and Bezo just watched a video. What was it called?
How to unfuck your brain.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? And we watched that video and it was like, wow, like we really just spend so much time distracting ourselves. And that's ultimately why we can't get shit done. And one of the biggest things we need to get done is ourselves. All these distractions to stop us working on ourselves, bro. So they don't want you to sit there and spend all that time worried about yourself, because your employer realizes, if they start worrying about themselves, they might realize that they're going a little too hard at work, and I'm working them a little too, extraneously, and they're like, oh shoot, like I don't want that to be the case. People don't want you to take the time to invest in yourself. That's why you have to. That's why you have to.
That's why you have to.
So many people walk around here with these scowls on their face, looking miserable. And it's like, bro, you woke up this morning. And I'm not going to tell y'all that I wake up every morning with a smile on my face, fruitful, happy, jolly, and bubbly. I'd be a damn liar if I said that. So I'm going to be real transparent with you. But it's a perspective thing. Because I'll get up and I'll look in that mirror and be like, damn, you look mad as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, bro, like you need to switch it up a little bit. Because guess what? You woke up this morning, your loved ones woke up this morning, and you got another chance to try again. So that means job's not finished.
Job's not finished.
And I love what I do, man. This is fun to me. This don't feel like work. It's when I'm at work it feels like work, you know?
Facts.
So internal happiness, man, it really comes from taking that time to read the books, to go for walks, to meditate, to get in touch with your spirituality. Listen, I'm not going to get on here and tell everybody, be religious, do this, do that. That won't be what I do. But I definitely would tell you to take some time to discover what thing piques your interest in some spiritual, background, or what energy you want to apply yourself to. That definitely will be something I tell some people to do.
Yeah, I feel like, not to go on a tangent, but like with the spirituality stuff, I feel like it's definitely levels to it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people bring it to an extreme, and it has a look on the social media of what spirituality is. Mm-hmm. But like deep down, the root of spirituality is really just knowing oneself.
Do your research, y'all.
Knowing oneself and loving oneself holistically. And I feel like if you do that, I don't see how it could be any negatives to do that. So I definitely encourage to look into it a little more and look into yourself.
Yes, do not let other people be the reason why you don't make the decision to help yourself. Because that's ultimately what you would do if you decide to let social media, know what I'm saying, dictate your viewpoint. It's called a single story narrative. Don't let the single story that you hear, stop you from having a conversation, talking to somebody, doing this, doing that. You should never do that. But yeah, man, get in touch with your spirituality, your energy. All those things are super duper 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 important. Very important. Spend that time with yourself. When you find yourself in the darkest place you could be in, and you figure out how to find the light within yourself, that's a flame you can't ever put out. Ever. So, I feel like I got myself during COVID into a very quiet and dark spot because it was just me. And I had to realize, like, how to love my own solitude. And, I'm not saying, like, my Dukes and Pops wasn't giving me no love. I'm not saying that either, you know what I'm saying? They was definitely showing me love. But I mean, like, on, like, a social aspect of, like, just being, like, 16 years old. Like, at 16 years old, I'm just by myself. I started reading 7 Spiritual Laws to Success. I started watching, like, spiritual videos. I started getting involved with church, all those types of things. Again, not pushing that narrative on you. I'm just saying things that I did that I felt helped me find a better result. And I think that's really when I got in touch with myself. Like, I understood how I felt about certain things, my emotions. And, it allowed me also to deal with some traumas. Like, childhood traumas are a lot of the reason why some people are unhappy, and they don't even realize it. It's like a subconscious thing that something happened to you when you was 8, something happened to you when you was 6 that you remember, 11, 12, whether it be you didn't get on a roll and the kid made fun of you, or, you know what I'm saying, your mom said you wasn't going to be shit, or your dad said you wasn't going to be shit, or something happened to you in your family, regardless, with friends, family, whatever. Something happened to somebody everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we all carry it like a book bag. And the only way you could get that weight off your back is honestly to open a book bag and figure out what it is. And so that is that dark place. That's where you go. You go into your book bag and it zips back up on you. And you have to sit there and go through everything that you have deep down in that bag, all the little compartments, everything in the pencil pouch, all those things. And then you realize, like, wow, I didn't realize I was even holding all that, right?
Yeah.
And then after taking all those things out that you realize have affected you, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You realize, okay, I feel this way. I know exactly what this is. This is that thing that I dealt with when I was this age, and I know why it's triggering me in this aspect. Because we have triggers, and the triggers that come from something. Triggers come from something. So you figure out what those triggers are when you go through that book bag.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't have to be a subject to those triggers. A
Yeah.
lot when you are unconscious about them and you're just going through life and you're getting triggered by these things, or something comes up and you don't know why you feel that way, you just feel that way, it's harder to control that feeling.
Yeah.
And then that means you're easily moved, and that's a whole other thing. But
Yeah.
that book bag of trauma and all that comes with years of just living this life, it's a dark place, and it's a scary place to want to go, but I think it's a very necessary place to go.
Yeah. I definitely think it's something that a lot of people run from.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't run from it, because if you run from it forever, eventually it's going to catch you. And I would hate for your last days to be you fixating on all the things you never finished solving, or the things you never spoke up on. Man, speak up. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself, man. I know a lot of people out here who got a lot of stuff going on that they scared to talk about. And my thing is, listen, you'd be surprised how much things that some people might actually have in common with you once you speak up. I'm not telling everybody to be an open book, but I'm telling people, like, certain pages show you the whole book. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you read the back of the book, right? It tells you everything that you're going to find in the book. And it's like, okay, this gives me the interest to even indulge myself.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even let you see the back of their book.
Yeah. Some people leave it, not even the title. It's just.
And you know what that is?
Look at the hardcover.
What is that? Something happened. It's a trigger. It's trauma. You know what I'm saying? Something traumatic happened where it was like, okay, now I'm going to put a wall to the world. I don't think people realize how easy that visual is, too, for someone to realize, okay, you're like this because somebody hurt your feelings. That's why you don't let people see your whole book. Or you're like that because X, Y, and Z happened. And then it's like, oh, man, I can see all that you could be. You know, I could see so much potential in people. I feel like that's one of my God-given traits was I can see somebody and see so much potential in them that they might not even see in themselves. And it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because then you can find yourself sitting here trying to help somebody find that internal happiness or find something that they want out of life that you could see that they can do or they'd be great at. They might not even want to do. They might not even be passionate to do it. They might have any interest to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, man. And it really comes down to people just being hurt. You know what I'm saying? They opened up to somebody, and then that somebody gave them a reason to never open up again.
Yeah. And then the cycle continues.
But then you're carrying a sense of, like, misery and, like, revenge and, like, anger, which are all things that are stopping you from getting happiness. Because those are all the antonym to happiness. You know what I'm saying? So, man, pay attention to that, guys. Like, I know it's so easy to get yourself in a box and not ever want to get out of it. But, I mean, talk to somebody. Talk to a therapist, too, man. Like, that's another thing I've heard a lot of people find help from is having a therapist. I mean, I appreciate the fact that I have a village of people behind me that I can call, and it doesn't matter what phase of life I'm in or what's going on. If I tell them, like, yo, I need to talk, man, they drop anything, you know? And I want people to feel that same way for me, too, but to an extent. That's one thing I learned was you don't want everybody to just trauma dump on you, but at the same token, you want to be a shoulder for people to cry on. So it's like you got to know the difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? Because in the moment, you might actually be the person that's supposed to help this person get to a happy place. And you might have to step into that position, even not knowing how good you're going to be in the position, but just because you were called to do it in the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're vessels. So pay attention to that, guys. For real.
For real.
But yeah, so would you say you found internal happiness yet, man? To a complete level?
That's very interesting. I definitely wouldn't say yes, but I'm thinking, is it possible? Do you think it's possible to be
that was the trick.
completely
That was
happy?
the trick question. Yeah. I don't think you could ever find 100% happiness just
I think
because
you can find peace.
Yeah, you can find peace. I think happiness is something that you are that's like the goal. It's like a chase. It's not I don't want to say chase. Okay, so maybe find a better word. It's like the journey to happiness, right? So you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I learned this about myself and I did this with myself and, you know, I found somebody that cares about me and I found this and me and my family talked and we're feeling better now and I finally had a conversation with my mama. I finally had a conversation with my dad. My uncle passed away, but, you know, like I finally making some peace with that because I know you're not in pain anymore. All those things is steps to help you find happiness. But like, let's say, I could say your happiness will sit at 99% and then the 1% is you always growing towards it. You know what I'm saying?
Because, like, you're never perfect, so there's always going to be room to grow, and that's going to be part of the happiness. But
yeah, for sure.
That's why people say, like, they're just trying to be at peace. Because when you're at peace, because happiness is an emotion that, like, is a high, you know? And then sadness is obviously the opposite.
Yeah.
But peace is that neutral feeling, even when things are going bad, things are going good, you still feel that neutral, you know, that
word. That's a very great point. Very great point. Because it's definitely easy to, you know what I'm saying, let yourself just go happy to sad, happy mad, happy angry. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you got peace, you know what I'm saying, it could be great, it could be horrible, but the one thing that will always be the common denominator is you're at peace. So you're happy, at peace though. You're sad, but you're at peace though.
Yeah, it's a different like range. I feel like of emotions. You're not as moved as easily. Like if this is the range of emotions, when you're at peace, I feel like it gets closer.
Yeah, it's like a threshold.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like even when something's going great, like it's not gonna be so great that it puts like a fake like delusional level of happiness in your mind. And even when things are sad, you're not going to become dramatic and irrational with your sadness. It will be very rational sadness, and you'll control. I feel like with peace comes control, and with control comes being able to dictate how happy you are. You know?
Yeah.
Comment down below, guys, if you think that if you can be at peace and sad at the same time. I think I want to see what they got to say about that. That's a very interesting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you be at peace and sad at the same time? But all right, guys. I appreciate you once again. You know, love always, man. Listen, guys, take that second to go find that inner peace. I mean, it gets to a really dark place, but once you find that flame, that light that gets you going again, it can never be put out. And you'll always be able to get yourself out of that dark place once again. Because once you get there, you know what it's like. You know what's in there. You know how you got there. And it's like having a route. It's like dropping the little Skittles on the floor so you know where you were. So that when you turn back around and you find yourself back where you was going, you find them Skittles all over again. You know?
Yeah.
Anything 100%. You want to say to
him? Take some time with yourself and learn yourself.
Learn yourself.
It's not gonna be easy.
Never.
It's not. It could be as hard as you make it. But enjoy the journey. Don't fixate on the results.
Don't fixate on results, guys. It's not gonna happen overnight, even though it might look like it. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's a journey. Everything in life is a journey. Ain't nothing gonna be easy. If it's easy, everybody would do it. I know y'all heard it before. It ain't a lie. It's the truth. I love y'all. Voice of Reason family. We gonna keep it consistent. More content, more content, more content, more content. Keep the love and positivity flowing. And keep being great, man. I appreciate y'all support. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for none of y'all, man. Thank you for showing me love. And the love is always reciprocated. Discord coming. Make sure y'all go tap in. We're going to be doing one-on-ones and stuff like that in there, too. With the stream included. Stream is coming as well. So just keep showing me love, man. You know, keep doing all the things that keep yourself up and at a high point of life and a happy point in life. And shout out to my brother, man, because he my inspiration in the streaming shit and this YouTube shit, bro. So make sure y'all gonna go tag all his stuff down in the description. And y'all go tap in, pay attention to what he got going on. If you're not familiar with him, go get familiarized. You feel me? We out. Peace.
Yeah. And they have it going on and on and on and on and on. We got it going on and on and on and on and on. Growing up, I never thought that I could go up and be on top of the world, but I'm about to blow up.